overcome. And so we think that we're working. But perhaps we are attracting these same, if you're going to call them lessons, is because we've never changed our thinking. We say change your thinking, change your life. We say there is no world external to consciousness. We say there is only one thing, and that one thing is God, and that one thing is wholeness. We say everything, but we haven't really changed our thoughts. We haven't really changed our minds. We haven't perhaps really stooped and drank. So this morning we are going to stoop. I'm hoping that we all have a beginner's mind this morning, and that we are going to take a vacation from our scarcity thinking. And I have some 3 spiritual tools this morning. Because, you know, we like to have those tools. So this is only 3 steps. How simple could that be? So what it is that, especially, you know, scarcity means we're living in scare city, right? And we want to move from scare city to the suburbs called Bounty County. But we're in this trance of scarcity. And you know, when we're in a trance, we're not thinking exactly clearly. And we can easily be led and manipulated. And most of us are in a trance of scarcity, and there's some 2 powerful words that are in this trance. And those 2 words are not enough. And they take on a couple of different shapes. There's the I am shape, and then there is the there is shape. So the I am shape looks like this. I am not enough. I'm not smart enough, I'm not good looking enough, I'm not rich enough, I'm not educated enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not valuable enough, I'm not tall enough, I'm not young enough, I'm not old enough, I'm not wealthy enough, I'm not prosperous enough, I'm not thin enough, I'm not whatever enough. We've got all of this stuff that goes on in our heads, constantly telling us we are not enough, cementing our ideas in this idea of scarcity or lack. And then there is the there is. There is not enough. There's not enough opportunities. There's not enough joy. There's not enough willingness. There's not enough community. There's not enough employment. There's not enough peace. There's not enough money to go around. There's not enough of whatever it is that we need. And then the advertisers buy right into that idea that we are in this trance. Because here's what we might hear. Hurry, buy now, because supplies are limited. Supplies are not limited. There's enough. They want you to buy now. Hurry, buy now, prices go up tomorrow. Guess what? Maybe they will go up tomorrow, but next month they'll come back down. And I'm teaching a class. I was going to do this very thing. Hurry and take this class now, because next time I offer it, it's going to be more expensive. And that might be true. I mean, and I'm going to state that it will be true. But if we really knew that there was enough, so let's say we had enough money, then it doesn't matter if we need to pay more later. Money is no longer an issue. So instead of being manipulated to buy something now when we don't really need it, we're just thinking about it, we buy it now because we don't need it, because we don't want it to go up. We think that there's not going to be enough. If we really knew there was plenty to go around, we always have sufficient means and money to purchase what it is that we want when we want it, then it doesn't matter if it's on sale. I know people that will go out of their way and spend, you know, the gas money to go to every store where things are on sale. And this didn't used to make sense to me, because they're spending more on gasoline than that they were saving in the grocery stores. But if it isn't on sale, they don't buy it. Because why? There's not enough. So we need to move through that trance of not enoughness, because when we are stuck in this not enoughness, we are crippled and robbed of joy, of expressing God's love, because why? We're not enough. How can we express God's love? We're not enough. We can't be God's light because there just isn't enough. And we certainly can't experience God's truth Because when we're in the not enough thinking, when we are overloaded in this trance of scarcity, we don't even know what God's truth is. Because all we can see is lack, whatever areas our scarcity thinking is. It doesn't have to only be with money. It could be with health. It could be with opportunities. It could be with relationships. It could be with housing. It could be with jobs. Wherever it is that we think that there isn't enough, that we're not enough, that there's not enough to go around, that we are surrounded by a particular pie, and if we don't get our piece of that pie, oh well, right? We missed the boat. We all didn't miss the boat. So anyway, 3 tools this morning to help us move through the trance of scarcity and move beyond it. I'm assuming, I don't know about you guys, but I'm all for moving through this trance. Okay, so the first one is to stay in the present. Stay in the present. So there's a book called The Architecture of All Abundance by Lenidra Carroll. And she's the mother of the musician Jewel. And she writes a story, and for her trance of scarcity, her book, had to do with some financial need, but this would relate to any need at all. So, she was doing what she needed to do. She had some ideas, so she needed some money. She was a single mom, unemployed for a while. She had some health issues. And after a little bit of time, her money was running low. And she became very nervous and very scared. She didn't know where the money was going to come from. She needed food. She needed to pay her mortgage. She needed some medical care. And so she did what she knew to do. We would call it a new thought. She meditated. She did affirmations. She prayed. She did what she knew to do. And she was having a very hard time manifesting or creating these items that she needs. So then she finally went into this panic prayer mode. Do you know what that panic prayer mode feels like? Sounds like, right? And so she goes into this panic prayer mode and she says, God, I've done everything I know to do. Everything. I've been praying. I've been affirming. I've been visualizing. I've been meditating. I've been doing everything I know to do, and nothing is happening. What's up, God? And then she hears this voice that comes inside from her head. And the voice is cool and calm, strong. And the voice says to her, inside of her head, pray for what you need now. And so she says, I've been doing that. The rent is due in 2 weeks. My car payment is due next week. I don't have food on the table. I've been doing that. And the voice says again, pray for what you need now. Well, she's getting irritated at this voice in her head, and she's still stamping her feet, adamantly saying, I've been praying for what I need now. I need rent money. I need car payment money. I need food. And the voice a third time says, pray for what you need now. So finally she got it. It's not what you need in 2 weeks from now. It's not what you need next month. It's not what you need next week. What do you need now? And she came to a realization that in that now moment, she didn't need anything. In that now moment, she had a roof over her head. She had clothes. She had some food. And she was elevated and lifted to a brand new place. Here's what she said. She said, a silence opens up. I fall headlong into it. A rush of understanding floods my being. I have the extraordinary sensation of having no need. Being absolutely free of need. Throwing my head back, I laugh at the simplicity of it. My chest expands with the breath of it. My heart pumps fully with the ease of it. The moment expands and I weep at this freedom from crushing need. Because you see, when we're praying because we need something, when we're meditating or visualizing because we need something. So here's a simple truth statement. So simple that it's so simple that when we hear it over and over and over again, we do have a tendency to get out of beginner's mind and then to just shut off all the learning, because we already know that, because I say this frequently, you say it frequently. We get what we focus on. How simple is that? Everybody here, if I would say fill in the blank, we get what we blank on, and everybody here would say focus, perhaps. We get what we focus blank on. We know it. We know it, but we continue to focus on what we need. And need is a focus, and we get more need. We continue to focus on what we want, and so we get more want. And so it's a fine line. It's walking that razor's edge, because yes, we have desires and wants. We want to manifest. We want to live our best life. We want to be filled up with passion and live from that passion. We want to share our talents and gifts. Maybe we don't know what they are. But there's a difference from fueling that from need-based to fueling it from a joy-based. From a knowing that we are already provided for, and we are an open channel, an open recipient. We are stooping and drinking from that deep reservoir that is already right where we are. So we don't want to necessarily pray from that sense of need. So focus on the now. Stay present is step one to overcome our trance of scarcity. Lenidra Carroll did that, and she overcame it, and here's what happened. Funny things started happening over the next few months. So a stranger at the post office came up to her and asked if she would like to trade her truck for his car. And all of a sudden, she had no more car payment. A local farmer, all of a sudden, out of the blue, started giving her his excess products that he didn't sell, out of the blue. And the local Chamber of Commerce approached her and asked her, she lived in a historic home, if she would be willing to rent out her rooms to tourists in her historic home. And now all of a sudden, that income paid for her mortgage each and every month. Because she was coming, she overcame this lack of scarcity, this trance of scarcity. So stay in the present. That's tool number one. And then we want to open up our eyes. That's number two. So again, it's about focus. So sometimes I would bet, no matter what our problems are, no matter what our issues are, no matter what kind of challenges that we have, I would say 90% of our life is going fine. 90% of our life is probably even good. But what happens is that we focus on that 10%, don't we? We have a problem. We have an issue. We have a challenge. Somebody at our work does not do what they should be doing. And this is all encompassing. But really, it could take up 2 seconds of our time. We have wonderful lives. We have houses. We live in Sedona. We have good views. We have cars. We have clothes. We are not homeless. We've got friends. We've got a body that will get us from point A to point B. We have hair on our head and brushes and combs to walk through. We have places to wash our clothes. We have shoes for our feet. We have a mind that can work. We have a voice. We have our senses. We have got a lot of good stuff going for us. 90%, as I mentioned, is probably going fine, and even maybe better than fine. Wonderfully. Phenomenally good, great, fantastic, and magnificent. But where do we like to spend a lot of our time? We like to spend a lot of our time on that 10%. On where it is that we have lack and need. And because we're focusing on that, because we're in this trance of scarcity, then we're listening to everything that's coming our way that's feeding into that. And then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it consumes a lot of our time. So let's focus on paying attention to opening up our eyes to see the good that is already there for us. Pay attention to that good. Appreciate the good. Notice the good. Notice the ways in the past even that we have achieved things that we had set out to do. Praise ourselves and where it is that we've come. Our accomplishments. When we can focus and open our eyes on that, what do you think? We're going to step through a little bit more of that trance of scarcity. And focus on the good. So even though these tools both were relating to focus, one is focusing on what it is that we already have and appreciating it, acknowledging it, being thankful for it. Because, again, that will simply expand into greatness. And focus on our good. And maybe we can live the life as if we are living from that Hafiz poem that I love, that says, God and I have become like two fat people living on a tiny boat. We keep bumping into each other and laughing. What if we focused on that? Focused on the way that the universe, God, infinite intelligence, spirit, whatever it is that you want to call it, bumps into you in grand and wonderful and glorious ways. And thank you, God. Thank you, God. Focus on that way, on those activities, on those ideas, on what we already have that's working so well. The stuff that's working so well in our life is not working so well in our life by accident. We've created it because we're comfortable in that area. Let's get comfortable in other areas. Let's learn to be comfortable appreciating and recognizing and acknowledging what it is that we have already. And so that's called, I'm calling that open your eyes. And then the third tool this morning is, give till it feels good. So here's also what happens. If we, whatever area our trance of scarcity is in, whatever area that is, because we think that there's not enough, either there is a not enough or I am not enough, we have a tendency to withhold. There's only this pie that's only so big, and we want our piece, and we don't want to give up our piece because we're worried, we're afraid that if we let go of our little piece, that's it. We're not going to find it again. Somebody else will have it. Somebody will take it. And we can't risk that. Because why? There's not enough. So that's not true, but we think it's true. We operate from that mindset. So wherever it is that we are feeling that there's not enough, that is the exact area that we need to be giving. Because you know what? We can't, here's the beauty of our own, this is the beauty of the tapestry, the magic, the majesty of life. Is that if we behave in a certain way that our beliefs are not in alignment with, it's not going to, something has to give. Either our behavior will change or our beliefs will change. So for example, let's say you behave in a way that you think is not right, but you don't stop behaving that way. What's going to happen? You're going to justify it in your mind. You're going to find ways to change your mind and justify some behavior that really was not in alignment with your beliefs. It's a cognitive dissonance. So on the other hand, so that would be, let's say, a negative thing. So let's say you have a belief that there's not enough, but you start giving in that area and continue to give until it becomes a little bit more of a habit. You have some distance. Something has to give. And what will give is your attitude, your mindset towards not being enough. Because you have continued, you've given, and lo and behold, whatever it is, you see that you aren't depleted. Might take a while for you to realize it, because sometimes we're not in the present and we don't open our eyes and recognize it. But eventually, over time, we'll notice, oh, let's say it's money. Oh, I've given this X amount of money, but lo and behold, when I thought I didn't have 2 cents at the end of the month, oh, I still have the same amount I've always had. 2 cents. Oh, maybe I could up it to 3 cents, right? Or if it's friends, maybe we're worried about people leaving us or abandoning us, and so we withhold. So let's give of ourselves and let's be present. Whatever it is in our area of feeling not enoughness, we want to start giving in that area so that we can recognize wise and become a giver, that really it is just a false belief that we have been holding on to for all this time. So I know a lot of you know this story about the wise woman who was walking along, in the mountainside, and she came upon a stream, and she found this precious stone. Precious stone. She picked it up and put it in her bag. Well, the next day she came across another traveler who had lost their way and who had lost their bag. And this traveler was very, very hungry and asked her for some food. And so she opened up her bag and shared the food with him. But he noticed at the bottom of her bag was this stone. And he said, you know what, instead of the food, I'd like that stone instead. And she happily gave it to him. And he went on his way, and he was thrilled. He was excited because he knew with that one stone, he would be set for life. He would never go hungry again. He would have enough money to be comfortable the rest of his entire life. But a few days later, he came back. He comes back to this wise woman. And he said, I took this stone, and I want to give it back to you because I would like something even more precious. And she said, well, what is it that you would want? This was it. And he says, I would like to have that thing that is within you, which allowed you to give that to me. Because she was free from the trance of scarcity. When we can give what we consider to be precious, knowing that we are amply supplied, that our good is not external to us, that our good does not come in the form of stuff, but that good is that ever-present reality. That we are always taken care of, always supplied for. We can rise above that trance of scarcity. Because I think our true nature our true goal is a goal of freedom. The freedom to express that divinity that is right within us. The freedom to recognize and express the joy that is God. The freedom to recognize and say the words and mean the words and understand the words at a deeper level, because we have now stooped and drank to know that there is just one thing. And that one thing is God. And that one thing is wholeness and health. That one thing is vitality and joy. That one thing is peace and power. That one thing is beauty and abundance and opulence. That one thing is money and cars and houses and travel and trips. That one thing is passion and perfection and purpose. That one thing is life and love and friendship. That one thing is everything, and it is right where we are. And more than being right where we are, it is what we are. Every cell, every hair, every molecule, every hair follicle, every fingernail, everything is imbued and immersed and enveloped in this one essence, this one energy. And that is where we overcome a trance of scarcity, because within this oneness there is no lack, because it is everything. The universe has a super sufficiency, and all sufficiency and over-sufficiency. There is no lack at all within the infinite. But we separate ourselves. We step back from it. We turn our backs to it because we love this trance of scarcity. Because we forget to focus on what it is that we want, that we desire. We forget to focus on the truth. And we have a tendency to focus on maybe what we see. We forget to have beginner's mind, because we think what we see is the truth. The royal we, this is me talking. And we need to learn to move beyond that. We live in this world, but not necessarily of it. We are of spirit. We are of love. We are of joy. We are of community. We are of something that is so far beyond what we can see. And as we come and align ourselves with that, consciously, on a regular basis, we can boldly step beyond this trance of scarcity, of not enough, and know that we absolutely are enough. we're even more than enough. We're valuable and meaningful, we're joyful, we're loved. We are the beloved of the divine. What else, what betterness can there be? And we can then become like those two fat people, God and I, the infinite and I, the beloved and I, two giant people living in a tiny boat, bumping into each other at every opportunity, every opportunity. Little magical kisses, every opportunity, and laughing at the joy and the delight of this tapestry called life, so that we can move from a lack, from living in Scare City, to moving to that idea in the suburbs of Bounty County. And so it is.